covering news where you live. This is 5 News at noon.
At the Sound of Freedom flying over Fort Smith.
Coming up, a look at the economic impact a pilot training program could have on the River Valley, and new reaction to the major shakeup of President Trump's national security team. That and the president's latest threat against Harvard University. Well, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for your 5 News at noon. I'm Morgan Wrigley. And forecaster Joshua Weisel is here. We're talking weather to start your day. Josh.
Yeah, and this is a quick little recap. What you see behind me, that was our Fort Smith camera this morning when those storms were pushing through. This is just a quick recording of what we saw earlier. An incredible shot here. All that lightning we had this morning. There's the roll cloud from the leading edge of the storm. We were tracking that live across the area. So that's just a quick recap of what we saw. Just to show you, take a look at what it looks like right now. We got some clouds, but it's surely a lot more calm across the area. We're talking 60s, even approaching some 70s for some parts of northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. For the next several hours, we'll have these clouds throughout the afternoon. It'll be nice and warm in the upper 60s, lower 70s. There is a chance that we could maybe see an isolated shower or thunderstorm later on this afternoon as well. We'll have full forecast details here coming up in just minutes.
Thank you, Joshua. Well, we've learned that a storm that left damage this week in Gravette was a tornado. The National Weather Service confirmed to us that an EF1 dropped down Tuesday morning. Wind speeds were estimated to be up to 105 miles per hour, knocking down several trees and snapping power lines in Gravette. And take a look at this video from Stevens County, Oklahoma. Floodwaters surged after heavy rain Wednesday into Thursday, leading to widespread flooding across the state. And this shows a truck attempting to drive through a heavily flooded road. Down in Pope County, community members are cleaning up from storm damage in Russellville, including on the Arkansas Tech campus. And in a nearby neighborhood, the Armstrongs say they didn't even know their house had been in the storm zone.
We're sitting here working, and you get a phone call
from a friend that says, hey, I think your house just got blown away. So we just loaded up in the car and drove over there. I
was just, oh my gosh, did that really just happen? The wind really just took our roof off?
Both areas are cleaning up, and there are no word of any injuries. Well, meanwhile, Fayetteville police are searching for a suspect after a robbery early Thursday morning. This happened at the Easy Mart on the corner of Poplar and Leverett. Police say they found discarded clothing outside the store and nobody was injured, but police are asking people to call them if you have any information. You can find more details from investigators on our website, 5newsonline.com. We're learning more about the 2 18-year-olds facing murder charges in Ouachita County. Chris Arnold and Keegan Turner were picked up by SWAT in Springdale this past weekend. Arnold is facing first-degree murder, while Turner is facing capital murder charges. Police in Camden say this all started last Saturday when they were called out to a shooting at a home along Lincoln Drive. They found 2 people hurt. One of the victims died in the hospital. Both Turner and Bradley are also facing aggravated robbery charges. A routine traffic stop in Van Buren County turning a major drug bust there. When deputies pulled over a driver for multiple violations, their search uncovered a massive haul. The images you're seeing right now show exactly what authorities confiscated. More than a pound of meth and more than $3,000 in cash. No word right now on the name of the person or persons arrested. And a man accused of killing a 2-year-old girl could now face the death penalty. New court filings show prosecutors are pursuing the most severe punishment in a case that has shaken the community. Authorities arrested 20-year-old Wesley Davis in March after a toddler was found unresponsive with signs of abuse. She later died at a hospital in Little Rock. Prosecutors first charged Davis with domestic battery, then first-degree murder. Now that charge has been upgraded to capital murder. He's pleaded not guilty, but Davis returns to court for a pretrial hearing August 7th, with trial set to begin August 27th. Now to the latest on a Fort Smith doctor facing allegations of sexual assault and possessing child sexual abuse material. Ladero Langford pled not guilty to charges during a court appearance. He was arrested this week. Prosecutors say he sexually assaulted someone on March 30th. From that investigation, investigators then uncovered hidden cameras in the victim's room. According to court documents, the videos on Langford's devices dated back to 2016. Multiple victims were identified, including a minor. Well, with the arrival of international pilots and cutting-edge aircrafts in Fort Smith, also comes a powerful new chapter for the region's military footprint. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer went to the event hosted by Prime River Valley Professional Summit. She checked in with leaders about the F-35 project.
Those jets you've probably heard flying overhead are being credited with fueling economic growth, strengthening national defense, and putting Fort Smith on the global stage. Already a critical center for drone operations and surveillance, the 188th Wing now supports a full-fledged fighter jet training mission, all on a base smaller than most. Over 5 years in the making, commander of the 188th, Jay Spahn, says the project is now marking a major milestone.
Yeah, the first 2 Polish F-35 students are actually finishing this week. They're kind of the best and the brightest from their F-16 operation, and they were chosen to be the first students for that reason.
This isn't just a win for the military. Local leaders say Fort Smith's role as an international training hub could transform the River Valley.
The 188th was probably already in the top 5 economic, drivers in the city, and you add the FMS, F-35, and fighter operation to it, and it's probably going to be the biggest single impact.
Tim Allen, president and CEO of the Fort Smith Regional Chamber, expects this to add $500 million to $1 billion to the city's economy a year.
It could go higher because the mission, as you heard tonight, is actually growing. There's more countries coming than originally planned, and that's exciting.
That was Lauren Spencer reporting. After Polish pilots finish training, Fort Smith is preparing to welcome pilots from Germany and Singapore, with their first arrivals expected to touch down in 2026. Well, we've learned all 5 international students at the U of A who had their visas revoked have been restored to active status. We learned last week that 2 of the students had returned. Yesterday, the university confirmed to us that all 5 had their student visas restored. They didn't provide any details on why those visas were terminated. Well, in national news, in the first staffing shakeup of the second Trump administration, the president has nominated Mike Waltz as ambassador to the UN, hours after CBS News reported he was leaving his position as the national security advisor. President Trump is also ramping up his battle with Harvard University.
When I have a problem, I call up Marco. He gets it solved.
President Trump named Secretary of State Marco Rubio interim national security advisor, replacing former Congressman and military officer Mike Waltz. Sources tell CBS News it was a last-minute decision to nominate Waltz to be ambassador to the UN.
Donald Trump has fired a lot of people. He doesn't give them Senate-confirmed appointments afterwards. What he thinks is that Mike Waltz is going to better serve the administration, most importantly, the American people in that role.
Vice President J.D. Vance told Fox News Signalgate did not play a role in the shakeup, but CBS News has learned Waltz's influence within the White House declined since inadvertently adding a journalist to a group chat in which details of a military operation were discussed. Sources also say it was perceived he did not adequately vet National Security Council staff.
I think that's what's kind of playing out here, is this battle for the future of the Trump administration's foreign policy.
President Trump is also escalating his fight against Harvard University a day after giving the commencement address at the University of Alabama.
The next chapter of the American story will not be written by the Harvard Crimson. It will be written by you, the Crimson Tide.
On social media Friday, the president said he's revoking Harvard's tax-exempt status. The university has already sued the administration for freezing more than $2 billion in federal funding after Harvard resisted the administration's pressure to enact policy changes to address anti-Semitism and DEI initiatives. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Harvard released a statement in response calling the president's plans to take away the tax-exempt status unprecedented and unlawful. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting says it is exploring other options after President Trump signed an executive order Thursday cutting funding to PBS and NPR, citing alleged bias in the broadcasters' reporting. Well, looking ahead here at home, First Friday is back in downtown Bentonville. If If you've never been, it's a fun event for the family. There's live music, free goodies, lots of vendors, and a free live performance. Today's theme is Adventureland. At the event, there's also a sensory alley, which is an all-inclusive, quiet space for families and individuals who have sensory barriers. First Friday kicks off at 3 in the Bentonville Square. It will last until 9, and this is the first one of the year after April's was canceled due to severe weather.
Allowed us more time to focus on this one, and so we're super excited. It's just a great community opportunity. That's what we do. We're here to serve and, to help highlight these wonderful businesses that we have in the area.
Before the event, on your lunch break, you can also join a free yoga class that is happening right now in the square to kick off the festivities.